absorb weight loss and liability. Jackie is with us tonight. She is from Summit County. She's going to talk to you about risk management, especially around horses. The Fair Board last year started a program where every club it's mandatory, not just you guys, all horse clubs to have that AIL insurance, which horses is $2 a person, you know, the children and the advisors. And for ATV it's $2, everybody else it's $1 a head, you know, per member, and the advisors. We advocate that because we found in the last few years that we've had accidents and things that happen and people weren't covered. And it was also, we thought it's about time we did some training. You're not the only group that we do and work with, but some training in your area also on how to be safe around horses. You know, lambs could not be silly because they rear up their head and hit you here. You might see stars for a while. Believe it or not, those little critters can do that to you. The other one is beef cows. You know, when those ears go back, you're in trouble because they think baby carriages are aliens, and they don't like baby carriages. And so you have to watch them. And sometimes, even though the kids try everything with radios and stuff to get steers used to noise and stuff from a fair, it doesn't always work. Something will spook them, and you really got to work harder with them than a fair week. For dairy cows, I've watched people, grown adults, push a baby stroller right in the back end of the dairy cow box drinking water, and they don't understand that they kick too, not quite like a horse does, but they do the 180 kick. You never see it coming. So through all that, we've decided to try to let people know, and I think part of it is they see you walk with your animals. You hold the reins, you walk along, horse walks along with you, and they say, puppy dog. They do that with all the other animals, the beef and the dairy cows. They think if a little kid, this young man's side, holds it real loose like you would walking a dog and walks along and it's just following him, that it's really docile and won't hurt him. What they don't understand is it's used to him, he's not used to people, strange people. So tonight we hope you learn some things along the way. And if you have any questions, please ask Jackie. She's from Summit County. And risk management's her thing, but she also knows a thing or two about horses. At least her daughters that she does. So,
But not much.
yeah. So thank you all for coming out. And
Thanks, Jen. Hi, everyone. How are you? Raise your hand if there's an empty chair by you, because, folks, you're going to want to sit down. There's a couple chairs here. There's chairs over here. There's chairs. If you have people you're saving those for, there are chairs over there. You don't want to sit down. You're going to stand up and be stubborn about that, okay? Would you also please do me the courtesy of turning your phones off? Last session, I had someone answer a call right in the middle of my presentation. I thought it was a little rude. So I'll just save it from that. Turn your phones off if you will, please. Okay. Super. Like Jan said, my name is Jackie Krieger. I'm the 4-H educator in Summit County. I know a little bit about horses. You might all know a whole lot more about horses than I do, but I know an awful lot about equine risk management. So why should I know anything about equine risk management? How many of you had the book 174 Basic Horse Management? How many of you have taken? You don't even raise your hand. Let me see. 174. That's all the people in this room that have taken 174. Thank you very much. She's taken 174. Well, my daughter's her pictures and all the dressage pictures, all the English pictures. That's my Katie. She was active in the equine program at Ohio State University, got her degree, and then went and worked in the equine industry in Florida for a couple of years. And one horrible, horrible day, I was at a party listening to wonderful music, like I just put Bobby McFerrin on for you. And it was my daughter who was not afraid of anything, working as a professional equestrian in Florida. She called me, and when she stopped crying, she told me that she had fallen. She was jumping at the Florida State Fairgrounds. She had fallen, and she was in the hospital. She had sustained a broken collarbone. Try working in the equine industry when you have a broken collarbone. Ain't gonna happen. And then she also told me, she said, Mom, if I hadn't been wearing my helmet, this very helmet, she said, we would not have this conversation. nor would we ever have any conversation ever again, because she not only hit her head, but the horse's hoof also hit her helmet. This helmet is a treasure in my family, because this is the helmet that saved my daughter's life. And shortly after that happened, we yet didn't have the mandatory helmet rule in Ohio 4-H. And I was thinking, it's like, if a helmet saved my daughter's life, how could I live with myself knowing that your daughter could get injured, you could get injured? If it's good enough for my Katie, it's good enough for all my 4-Hers. So we went through a process, and before the state had mandatory helmet use, we had it in Summit County. And what it turned out was everybody liked for Jackie to be the bad guy, because moms didn't want to tell their girls that they had to wear a helmet. And 4-H advisors didn't want to be the bad guy and tell them they had the helmet. So I was happy to be the bad guy that says, you wear a helmet. And now, not because of me, but because of a lot of other good people, it's mandatory in 4-H. This is the helmet that saved my daughter's life. I can't tell you how I don't want you moms and dads to get the same call that I got. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I hopped on a plane so fast to Florida, it wasn't even funny. So that really started my interest in risk management in 4-H. And watching our kids ride and do such wonderful things at fairs and at open shows, it became horribly evident to me that there are a lot of people who knew nothing about equine risk management. How many of you own your own barns? And you board? How many of you board? You board? How many of you give lessons? You know all about risk management because you have to. Why do you have to know about equine risk management? To cover yourself. Absolutely. So what we don't want to have happen is that you need to be covered. We don't want anything to happen. Pardon me? You have to protect yourself and everyone else. So I really appreciate the Trumbull County Fair Board inviting me to do this, because I can't prevent everybody from being injured, but hopefully maybe something that you learned today will prevent you from saying this is the helmet that saved my daughter's life, because you won't have the problem to begin with. She was riding as a professional too, by the way. She wasn't riding as a kid, she was riding as a professional. Well, I started out our presentation. I don't know if you got to hear it. Who knows who this is? You know. Nobody knows? You know.
Bob Marley.
Who is that?
Bob Marley.
Bobby McFerrin.
That's what I said.
Who said that? I heard Bob Marley. Okay, Bobby McFerrin. And the song's one of my favorites. It's called Don't Worry, Be Happy. And I think that's what my Fair Board has thought for a whole lot of years. My 4-Hers have thought that for a whole. Don't worry, Jackie. Be happy. Nothing's ever happened. Nothing has ever happened. No horse has ever gotten loose. That's a lie. Nobody's ever been injured or have to be taken to a hospital. That's a lie. No spectators ever had an encounter with a horse. That's a lie. Because the people who've been around, remember, last week Jan told me that there have been over 20 equine-related accidents at this fairground. They want it to be 20, period, no more. And 4-Hers, this is your responsibility, as well as your parents, and as well as your 4-H advisors, to begin to understand equine risk management, because then everyone can say, don't worry, be happy, because we got this covered. We're covering ourselves, and we're covering 4-H. So today we're going to talk about these things. We're going to define risk and risk management. Anybody in the insurance business? Yay! What kind of insurance?
Property and casualty.
Property and casualty. What's property insurance? Well, what's property? Is it houses, businesses? Is it a horse too? Is a horse property in your horse's property? And then what's casualty? You said you sell property and casualty. And casualty is when something goes wrong. There's all kinds of insurance. We have auto insurance, homeowners insurance. How many of you have vet insurance, have animal insurance? Yeah, let me tell you, I have a horse that you're going to see a picture of. Thank God we got insurance, vet insurance on that critter, because He has cost us way, that guy right there. What do you, man, he's, oh. Anyway, we're gonna talk about risk and risk management. We're gonna understand the importance importance of controlling the risks and your role. What is your job and your responsibility? It's not Kirsten's job, it's not the Fair Board's job, it's not my job, it's your job, and that's why the Fair Board has you here. We're also going to do this, and if moms and dads and advisors, we can teach our kids to think safety all the time. Think about safety all the time. I have dads who tell me, you know what, we told our daughter that either this is going to happen or she's not going to have a horse anymore. She's wearing her helmet all the time, or she's not going to have a horse. Pretty straightforward. But better than, let's just think about, is this safe? Is this a safe activity? And we'll go through some of those things. We're going to talk about the Ohio Equine Law. Who knows what the Ohio Equine Law is? How many have ever seen the Ohio Equine Law? You've seen it? Where did you see it? It's on the Ohio Revised Code thing. Have you read that? Have you read the Equine Law? You're the first person besides me in 4-H that I know has read at least part of it. Where else do you see the Ohio Equine Law?
On my wall.
Who said that?
Me.
On your wall. On what wall?
The wall of my indoor arena.
The wall of your indoor arena. Why do you put that up there?
Well, I got some girlfriend suing me right now because she broke her face off grabbing one of my horses.
Aha. Okay. All your barns here, all your equine barns have the Ohio Equine Law posted on them. You've seen them before. We're going to talk about exactly what that means and what it doesn't mean. And people do sue, don't they?
That's right.
You betcha they do. We're going to talk about the importance of helmets. How many times do I have to tell you? That's the helmet that saved my daughter's life. And we're going to talk about Ohio 4-H forms, risk management, blah, 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 blah. So, look, see, here's our little Moxon. Wasn't he just like the cutest little thing? I don't know how old he was there. But risk happens just like a horse. This little guy could be so cute, and in an instant he would turn into an ass. You know that's true with all your animals, right? They can be sweet as pie, and then all of a sudden, things go wrong. It happens with dogs, it happens with cute little fuzzy bunnies. Jan talked about these little lambs knocking around her butt. Okay, it can happen. And if you don't think that that can happen, you haven't been around horses too much. So what is risk? It's a chance. It's the chance of injury, damage, or loss. What's injury? Tell me, what is injury? What's injury?
When you get hurt.
When you get hurt. Absolutely perfect answer. What's damage? You know that too? What's damage?
When something is, when sometimes an arm gets broken.
Okay, well that would be injury. There's a different kind of damage. You think you know. How come you have all these smart kids in this county? I know. What is it? Okay, what is it? When something gets broken. I don't know about the horses that come to your fair, but we have horses that come into our stalls at fair, and in a matter of minutes, they have torn up those dang stalls. At a cost. I mean, somebody's got to pay for that. So injury is when someone gets hurt. Damage is when something gets broken. What's loss? You guys are giving. What's loss? Casualty person, what's loss? Injury, damage, loss. When you lose something. So what happens if your horse dies? That's loss of property. Absolutely. So injury, damage, loss. To a person, to a property, you've already told me a horse is property. They're not related to us, although sometimes we think they are, they're not. And then reputation. What's reputation? What's reputation? How can reputation be hurt? Well, it must be hurt as far as the insurance companies are concerned when it comes to equine programs at the Trumbull County Fair. The reputation of us together must have a bad name, otherwise the insurance companies wouldn't insist that we hold these sessions. Okay? So, oh, and look at this picture. I pulled that off the internet. Ain't that cute? These little lovelies over here, no helmets. This kid's got a helmet on. If something happens, you think their insurance company in Ohio would cover them? Why not? No helmet, because when you say that you're going to be in Ohio 4-H, you sign a thing that says we're going to follow all rules. You take your helmet off because you don't want cat hair. God forbid you should have cat hair, right? The insurance company may say you did not do your part. You're not covered by insurance. So look at this. These are the top 5 reasons that AIL, the company that does so much coverage for 4-Hers, the top 5 reasons for claims. 4 of them, 4 out of 5, deal with falls from a horse. There's nobody getting run down by a steer in the top 5. There's nobody getting turned over on an ATV, although that happens. There's nobody up there because a bunny bit them. There's 4 out of 5, fall from horse, broken bones, fall from horse, sprain, fall from horse, bruise and contusions, fall from horse, head injury. Let me tell you about head injuries. My father was volunteering at Fairview Hospital in the coronary care unit, and he was wearing tennis shoes, and he was doing nice little volunteer stuff. My dad fell. He was walking, poop, fell from a standing position to here. This boom to the ground, hit his head, 12 days in a coma, and he died of traumatic brain injury. He fell from a standing position to the floor. What more would it be if you guys are sitting on a horse, how much higher, and you fall without a helmet? So you see, this is very personal for me, because I don't want the same thing happening to you all that happened in our family. It was this thing, accident, he caught, boom, horrible, horrible, horrible. Fall, 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 fall from horses. So here are the things we're going to talk about. What are the considerations? The animal, the activity, the people, that's you all, the place, and the equipment. So when we talk about the animal, how healthy is the animal? How many of you have ever gotten on a horse and you're under saddle and you're going, something is not right. The horse is just off. Not moving the way she normally does, not responding the way she normally does. Has that ever happened to any of you? Yeah? What do you do? Trainer, what would you suggest they do? If the horse is just like not... Huh? Vet check it. So what do? Wait an hour? Or just get off and get a vet check? Yeah. Most often, it's, especially if you're a younger rider, get off of the horse. If the horse isn't right, get off. So is the animal healthy? We've got this thing called versatility in our county, and it's like the be-all, end-all of our equine kids' lives. If they don't make versatility, life as we know it is over. It's so very important. It's very important. It tells you how well you've done. But we have jumping in our versatility, and we have kids who've got great Western pleasure horses, and then they come to versatility and they expect that old mare is going to be doing jumping. And maybe she's never jumped before. Is that fair to the animal? I don't think so. I don't think so. So the health, the skills, the training. What is the activity? We had a horse, a 4-Hers horse in our county last year. There was an accident with, they were trailering the horse, and there was an accident, and they had to have the horse put down, right on the spot. It was horrible. You may have heard about it on the radio. It was horrible. People, the riders and the skills. Would you ever have a green rider on a hot horse and think that that's okay? Absolutely not. I was at a different county fair. It wasn't Trumbull and it wasn't Summit, but they had this kid running barrels, no helmet. This was before the helmet rule. No helmet, and he was such a little guy, he could not put his feet in the stirrups, and he's running barrels. You got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. So what kind of skills? He didn't even have proper equipment. Things weren't even fitting him. So who are the people? What's the place? I'll show you a place where Katie worked in Florida. Great place. They had alligators. Let's just put it like that. And what is the equipment? You know what? That girth belt, we'll replace it next week, but we'll use it for one more time, because nothing's ever happened. Don't worry, be happy. It's held up, but it's a little frayed. What else goes wrong in tack? What, huh? What? Bits break, rings break, stirrups break, everything can break, right? Everything can break. But you know what? It's okay, because nothing's happened yet, and we know it needs to be replaced. Well, next time I go to Big D's, I'll take care of it. Those are the things we think about: the animal, the activity, the people involved, the place, and the equipment. So here's a definition of risk management. It's a discipline for dealing with the possibility, like maybe something is going to happen, that some future event will cause harm to people, property, income, or organizational goodwill. I'll tell you what, when my Kate went down, those people in the equine business, they do not pay you when you are hurt. If you can't saddle a horse, you ain't getting paid. If you can't shovel out a stall, and not even pick out a stall, shovel out a stall, you're not getting paid. So, a loss or harm to people, property, income, or organizational goodwill. If you have your own facilities, I would urge you to write down this name and check them online. The Equine Risk Management Group, LLC, they have such tremendous resources about barn fires and all kinds of interesting risk management things. And I have used them as one of my primary resources because they have such great information. Why would the Equine Risk Management Group, why would they exist? Why would they exist? I've never seen the bunny rabbit risk management group or the guinea pig risk management group. These organizations want to protect the industry. They want to protect the industry. So it's a never-ending process. You can come here and spend an hour with me, and you might read the Ohio Revised Code. I am so proud of you that you've done that. And you're not done with risk management. You have to do it every single day. If you own your own property, you know that. Every single day, you've got to make sure that everything is safe and ready. Effective risk management can contribute to the safe conduct of the equestrian sports and all equine associated activities. So here's a picture from our fairgrounds. I'll tell you about that. Do you have a mounting area where you mount your horses before you go into the ring? You don't have a mounting area? Where do you mount your horses? Anywhere. Well, we had the same story. We had like anywhere. But then Aunt Sue and Uncle Ron are coming in pulling a stroller with a Mylar balloon and saying hi to Katie's little horse. Right while you guys are mounting. Well, we had other issues that you'll see pictures about, but we made a special mounting area to keep non-participants the heck away from you and your horse while you're getting ready. It was a wonderful thing. So how do we deal with risk? This is some of the kids in our special needs group. You can see there's always a helmet, and there's 2 sidewalkers. There's another person over there, 2 sidewalkers, and a leader. So the first thing we do in risk is recognize when there's a problem. Do you know when it's a problem, or do you not know when it's a problem? If you're thinking, is this safe? You're starting to learn what is safe and what is not safe. What is a risk and what is not a risk. So first we're going to recognize, then we're going to talk about management. So we identify risks, we analyze. So is this a big deal or not? Is this something that I should lose sleep over or not? And then we assess. Let me go on with these. And I want to show you another reference, folks. Here, in red are the words that come from the Equestrian Federation of Australia. Man, do they have outstanding resource with regard to risk management and horses. And again, if you have your own boarding facility or you have your own barn, I will be Googling those guys when I get home tonight because the information is that good. So we understand that there's no way that we can eliminate all the risks, right? I mean, to come here today, you had a risk, didn't you? I drove here on the turnpike. Those big 3 trucks, those 3-trailer trucks, they drive me nuts. There's some crazy drivers out there. There's a risk in everything that you do. And if we want to continue to ride horses, we say, you know what? There's a certain amount of risk that we're just going to accept. We understand that, you just signed papers, didn't you, that said, I understand I can get hurt. So you accept it. But what we're asking us to do is how can we reduce those? How can we avoid those? And how can we help somebody else share that responsibility with us? So this is really cool. Can we avoid all the risks? Yes or no? Absolutely not. Why can't you avoid them all? There's just perfect answer. There's just so many things that could go whack. What are some things that can go whack? A horse, for one. What else can go crazy? The equipment, what else? The weather. Whenever Katie was jumping, I always watched the back end of the horse going over jumps. Why would I do that? See, you're smart too. You got all smart. Yeah, I would watch to see what kind of footing the animal had while it's jumping. And if its feet are sliding around, we've withdrawn. It's too wet, the footing is terrible, we're out of here. I don't care about their stupid plates and ribbon. Really, I don't. I want my horse and my kid to be okay. And we withdrew. So, no, we can't avoid all the risks because there's just too many. Great answers, you guys. Reduce. Can we reduce the risks that we can't avoid? Can we reduce some of the risks? Yeah, absolutely. Like what can we avoid? Head injury, we can wear a helmet. What else can you reduce? Pardon me? Tack failure. So before you tack your horse, do you check to make sure that everything's okay? Nothing's ripped or nothing's strained or nothing's cracked. You're ready to go. What else? What about where you put your horse at night? You check that out? We have a colleague in the western part of the state who was really concerned. At their fair, they found out that horses were going down, and they couldn't figure out why the horses were going down until they realized that people were throwing marshmallows into stalls at their fairgrounds, and they had injected them with stuff. So at our fair, it's like, you know what, you can do whatever you want, but I suggest that you take your water. I mean, you water at your own barn, right? You go down the aisle, and it's water, 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 water. When the public is involved, we encourage our people to put all their water in the back end of the stall. So you got to haul the water into the back end of the stall, but no one's putting stuff in the water without going in there. Who would even think of that? There's a special place in hell for people who do that. So can we reduce the risks? Yeah. You first have got to be aware, and then we can avoid stuff. Can we accept? You all accept the risks. You all, as parents, you accept the risk of your kids riding horses. As kids, you accept, ain't nothing happened to me, don't worry, be happy. How many of you have ever been injured riding? And lived to tell about it? There. Transfer. Can we transfer those risks to somebody else? Can we transfer risks? Who's responsible for wearing a helmet? Who's responsible by rule?
The rider.
The rider and who else? The parent. Parents, you are responsible to make sure that that helmet is correctly sized and correctly placed on their head. That's the parent's responsibility. How many of you are 4-H advisors? And what do you do as a 4-H advisor? With regard to the helmet? Nothing! I am doing nothing!
See? I was right, I said nothing.
You said nothing, but you can do something. You can do something. What can you do with regard to helmets?
Hey, put your helmet on.
You can suggest that you can also teach them how to wear it properly. But it's the parent's responsibility, and it's the 4-H's responsibility to wear it. Did I have to tell you again? That's the helmet that saved my daughter's life. I mean, what can I tell you? And insure. Jan has already talked about AIL insurance. It's $2, folks. It's $2. I don't know if you've ever had claims. We've had some claims of quirky little things that happen, and AIL is taking great care of them. It's supplemental insurance. So let's go on. Oh, aren't these fun events? Yeah, let's go back. So how do we avoid risk? No one ever, you should have had this, or some people I have, there should never ever be one kid and one adult ever together unless they're your own. Ever. Ever. Parents and kids, that's a wonderful rule to teach them. Always rule of 3. There's 3 of us together. We have a kid at our fairgrounds, guess what?